And I'm just gonna hang on a little second. I'm making a live tonight. I do it very infrequently, but every now and again, I just feel the need to do a live. They never really seem to work out that well, particularly when trying to rewatch them. So if you are trying to rewatch this later, if you've not got to join in the live, you might get maybe like a 24-hour window to say something. Oh, hello, Joe. Hi, Joe. Can you hear me, Joe? Just let me know. Give me a little thumbs up to let me know you're here and you can hear me. That'd be great. But there is actually a reason for me doing this video tonight. I just wanted to kind of, it's more like a commentary, to be quite honest with you. Hi, Ethan. Hello. Ethan's here. So we've got a few people joining now. That's great. I want to see a few more before I really get into it fully, because I really want to talk about, I've already talked about it in a video. I talked about this and I didn't really want to have to talk about it. Can hear and see you very clearly. Thanks, Joe. That's good to know. I'm glad you can. I didn't really want to talk about it again because I didn't really know whether it really needed talking about again. But then something happened, not yesterday, the day before, that made me go, oh, I'm gonna have to talk about this again. And I don't know whether I really need to make a full video about it, but it'd be fun to hear some people's points of view and sort of talk about this more like a conversation rather than, you know, a full-scale video where I wait for people to comment on it. And the thing, if you're wondering, is the tariffs again. I don't really want to go in depth with the whole political end of the spectrum here. I don't want to, oh, hi, Robert Riviera's here. Oh, hello, how are we? And yeah, Joe, I've seen Joe. I don't want to go into the whole politics thing. I'm not going to be divulging political opinion here. I'm just really reacting again to what is happening in the world, and particularly because of what's happened with Spirit Halloween. Now, being that I'm from the UK, we don't get Spirit Halloween. It's just worth mentioning. We don't get Spirit Halloween, and I have never had the chance to walk into a Spirit Halloween or buy anything off the shelf from a Spirit Halloween. I've never had that ability, never had that chance, though it is something that at some point I would love to be able to do. But that doesn't mean that Spirit Halloween doesn't have like a special place in my heart, and I think it has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Oh, Edith's here. Hi, Edith. It has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. If you are from the States or Canada, I think that Spirit Halloween just is that, it's just that place, isn't it? It's that place that just screams Halloween at the top of its lungs. It's one of the few places that is just specially dedicated to Halloween. It pops up for like the last few months of the year and then disappears again, and we don't see it again for another year. So it does have this kind of almost enigmatic, ooh, mystery kind of persona. And I think for anyone who has been in the Halloween community for a long time, particularly if you're in the States, that Spirit has this special place in your heart, whether you really are into Spirit anymore or not. You might in the last few years go, oh, Spirit's been a bit bad. Oh, I've not really been that interested in what Spirit have to show or say. But at the same time, it's still Spirit Halloween. And I think there's a lot of people who have a deep love for it, whether they're really into the new props and their different themes and one thing and another anyway. Oh, hang on. Kev, hi Kev, has put, yeah, I've been watching those sneak peeks and demo vids from Spirit since 2017. You see? So this is exactly what I'm saying. There is this following of Spirit that I don't think many other stores really have. And even here in the UK, going way before I even had a channel, I was always one of them people who was looking forward to seeing what Spirit was going to bring out, hearing about, seeing people get to go to Spirit Halloween and they'd be filming all the things in the stores. I always really enjoyed that. That was a big part of my build up to Halloween. I mean, a bigger part of it, and it's certainly in the last few years, has been those grand sort of flagship opening days that we've been watching, that I know, I don't know if you do, but I certainly do. I love watching all the YouTubers, many of which we all kind of know if you're part of this community, they're all waiting outside and they're waiting to go into the store, and then some of them are camping overnight and all that stuff, and then they get to go in and they get to see all the stuff that we've all been talking about and looking at for the last few weeks, if not months. And it's incredible. It's a real fun moment whether you're there in America, whether you're there at Flagship or not, it is a real fun moment. And for me, that moment when Spirit opens its doors on Flagship Day is kind of like, yes, Halloween is here. The season has come. We are here. This is the new season. Welcome Halloween of whatever year it's been. And then, of course, on Thursday, we got the news from Spirit themselves that they were not going to be doing it this year, that it had been cancelled. Flagship grand opening had been cancelled, and that instead we were going to see the stores open as normal, of course, but just later into the season. And it would just maybe be a slightly flatter event than usual. And on top of that, until yesterday, and we'll talk about this in a moment, we hadn't seen that sneak peek of, release teaser type things and the theming of what it was going to be at halfway to Halloween, as we'd all kind of gotten used to over the last few years. And that's sad, right? That's sad, especially when you know that the whole reason that it's not happening is because of those pesky tariffs. And I know it's less to do with, because they haven't bought props and stuff. It's more to do with there's kind of like a lag and a bit of a delay because the tariffs were so high and now they've gone down a bit. I know that that's the reason, and they're not saying they're not going to get any of this stuff. But at the same time, it's sad that there's something as stupid as a tariff that's been put in place by the US on China is having such a dramatic effect on our little community, our little corner of the world, the Halloweeniverse, as I like to call it. And that's sad. I don't like to see anything affect the Halloween community. I like to see the Halloween community grow, and I love the idea that things are going to get better and things are going to get brasher and louder and all that stuff. And the idea that just because of something like a tariff, it's all become a little bit diminished. I mean, in honesty, this feels like COVID again. Like when 2020 was happening and COVID was around and everything started to sort of close down and shut down. It was a really depressing moment. And it was actually COVID that made me come out fighting and was like, no, I'm going to make, instead of cancelling Halloween, I'm going to make Halloween even bigger. I'm going to go bigger and better and buy more stuff than I've ever bought before. Maybe this will have the same sort of effect, but with the financial implications it's going to have, particularly on the United States this year at least, it's a very sad thing to see. And I just wondered, I was kind of like, I've made a video about this now, but I think that seeing what Spirit had to announce the other day, saying that they weren't going to be having their grand opening, has this changed any of your minds about the tariffs? Were any of you sat at home going, you know what, these tariffs actually are a pretty good idea. Actually, I think they're a really good idea. They could have a good effect. And then this has happened and it's made you go, actually, no, they're not. I hate the tariffs and I want them to go. Halloween Man 2002, say hi. Oh, Ethan asked me a question. I remember watching people unboxing Spirit stuff from the UK and wishing we had Spirit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly the same feeling. I always used to sit there watching people go to the Spirit stores and unbox their Spirit props and be so jealous that we didn't have something like that here in the UK. So even though I don't live in the States, even though it's not having a direct impact on me, it's still an incredibly sad thing that this is happening at all. And yeah, I suppose that was my question to any of you who really, if you want to answer and you want to put your thoughts out there. Again, I don't want to get too political. I just really want to know how it's made you feel knowing that Spirit isn't having their grand opening and they're not doing their flagship day. Is that going to affect how you think about Halloween? Is it going to make you feel, is it made you feel sad that that's not happening? Or is it something you're not really that concerned about? I'm not concerned about it. It's just saddened me a little bit. I just feel like that's a sad thing to have happened. And at the end of the day, whether you agree with the tariffs or you don't agree with the tariffs or whatever, wherever your stance is on them, at the end of the day, this is people's livelihoods and jobs at stake. And I know the Halloween community is just one tiny little corner of this much bigger thing, but it's sad that it's happening at all. And anything that might affect people's jobs and affect people's livelihoods and affect businesses in the future going forward, that's not a good thing. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that a very sort of very snap political decision, or how it feels is a snap political decision, could actually really quite devastate some businesses. And we're already seeing that trend. We're already seeing several of the big Halloween companies sort of coming out and going, look, we're stuck. We don't quite know what to do. Everything's either going to be delayed, or it's going to be more expensive, or whatever. And that's not good, right? Oh, Joe said something. I personally think Spirit has fallen off in the last couple of years. The tariffs suck, yeah, but I understand why they're in place. Okay, good point. Yes. So I did sort of say this right at the beginning. Spirit in the last few years has maybe taken a bit of a tumble in terms of its persona, maybe, and some of its importance on the scene. But again, I'm really talking about how it's sad that this store that kind of personifies in many ways this community and the people who like to. My dog's barking, by the way, if you can hear anything. That kind of personifies Halloween and this community who love to buy things at Halloween, that it's sad that it's had to take this road. Oh, Harry's here. Harry J Vlogs. Hi, Harry. Nice to see you. And Joe's put, the grand opening doesn't affect me. Don't get me wrong. I like watching the videos, but it's still a sad thing to happen. Yeah, exactly. So for me and for you, obviously, Joe, it is a shame, but it's not the end of the world because we don't live in the States. So we've never really got to experience a Spirit grand opening firsthand. But it's just that thing of, I guess, a big thing that drove me into this community, and a big thing that drove me into making these videos, was seeing people on YouTube mainly, but all the other different socials, getting really excited for the season. And a big part of that excitement and that buzz was Spirit at its grand opening. And like I say, it kind of, for me, always felt like the beginning of the season, proper beginning of the season. The minute that Spirit was there and open and people could go in and actually buy the stuff, that felt like, yeah, Halloween is here. We are in the season now. This is its time. And to know that it's not having that grand opening, it's obviously not going to affect Halloween. Of course not. But it does feel like another little piece of what makes Halloween special, and the way that we've celebrated it over the last few years has just been chipped out. And that's sad. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who kind of feel that way. You may never have actually gone to the flagship grand opening, but it's sad that it's kind of not being able to happen. And it's because of something, in my opinion, as silly as a tariff. Though, like you say, Joe, I kind of get why the tariffs are in place. I do understand the mentality behind them. It's just, I don't know, I've always had this kind of viewpoint that you don't run before you can walk. You know? Like, if you're gonna try and wean yourself off something, it's kind of like if you were addicted to smoking. Some people are strong enough to go cold turkey and just stop like that. Some people need a little help and need to put certain things in place to help them get off that addiction. And in this case, it's America's addiction to cheap Chinese goods. And if you want to cut that addiction, yeah, cut it. But I think you might have to do it in a slightly more slow, controlled way. And if you want America to start building more of its own stuff, maybe build the infrastructure to build that stuff first before you cut your nose off to spite your face. That's just my little opinion on it personally, but that doesn't mean I am having a real political, sort of opinion on it. That's just how I view it. Ethan put, it's also a shame. Fun World is struggling. I hope it survives. Yes, so Fun World is struggling. I read that. I mentioned that in one of my videos. And also, HalloweenCostumes.com have obviously announced that they were going to bring out things in May, and then they didn't. They've delayed it, postponed it. And then the rumor is that their third wave, which was down for like July, August time, has been cancelled entirely. So it's clearly having an effect. It's really sad that it's having an effect. And I said this in my last video. It's kind of, I'd hate to try and be an importer in the US right now who's sort of wants to bring new things to market and obviously wants to make money, but then can't because they don't know how much things are going to be because the tariffs keep fluctuating and things keep on changing. So yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for that right now. Hadam's Haunts put, thoughts on the Hauntress, Dan? Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Loved that Hauntress. I'm sure you love her too. It's a shame she smelled of certain things. Yeah, she's obviously partied a little too hard. This is like a kind of an in joke that we had. Um, Adam's once got the Hauntress, which is obviously a spirit prop from a few years back now, and he said that she smelled of, let's just say, certain illegal paraphernalia. Had a kind of a whiff to her, and I just sort of laughingly said, "Yeah, she's partied too much. The Hauntress likes to party. She's got that kind of look to her. I can imagine her on a night out in Manchester. I can imagine her out on the town." Getting a bit boozy, frightening a few locals. I can definitely imagine that. So yeah, so it's part and parcel of it. Say it's part of her natural aroma. I think that'll work. Kev put, I just realised bride and groom will be very limited stock because it's Morris Costumes prop. Hang on. So are we talking the bride and groom with the pop-off head? Is that the bride and groom we're talking about there? Is it a Morris Costumes prop? Maybe I'm sort of thinking, oh no. No, I'm confused. I thought that was a Sunstar prop. Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong bride and groom. Anyway, let me know. It's so sad that Spirit has stopped the flagship opening. I always look forward to watching it every year. Me too, Harry. Like I say, it's just for me, even though I've never physically been there and never experienced it firsthand, it does feel like a real sort of punch below the belt for the whole Halloween community, I think. Oh, Adam Sons puts, when is your John Doe arriving? Yeah! I got a John Doe, everyone! Woo! I've wanted a John Doe for years and have just always missed the boat. Every time I've ever wanted one, there's always been something else that's got in the way. Yeah, I finally got one. I bought one yesterday. So I got it on normal shipping. So I think it's probably going to be like, I'm going to say like next Thursday, maybe Friday. I hope before. It would be great if it was Wednesday because I could make a video about it, but I'm not really sure. And then Adam's put yep about the certain smell that a certain Hauntress had. Harry put, do you think Halloween House will be open because of the tariffs? If I said that right. I think yes. If I'm honest, Harry, I don't think, this is the weird part, and I have discussed this too. The sadness around the tariffs is really for America. It's kind of sad for America, and some will disagree with that, but it's kind of sad for the US that they aren't going to be able to, that maybe their Halloween's going to be a slightly shrunk down version of what it should be, and that some things that maybe were destined for their shores won't come to their shores now. Because of the tariffs. The UK has some tariffs against China, historically has always had some tariffs against China. So, but we obviously, unless there are things that we buy from America, then I don't think that we're going to really suffer quite the same as America suffers. So I think stores like the Halloween store at Maryhill, if that's the one, Halloween House at Maryhill, I can't really see them struggling. I think they're probably just got to do what they always do. And all power to them. Though I have said it before, I've been to Halloween House a couple of times. I find it quite expensive. I think they have very basic things that, don't get me wrong, are cool, very cool, but basic Halloween things that are like 3 or 4 times the price of what they would be in, say, Asda, as an example. So yeah, that always kind of weirds me out. So Kev's put yeah when we were talking about the bride and groom. I assume, so like I say, so the bride and groom, I didn't know they were anything to do with Morris Costumes. I just thought they were Sunstar props, Aroma props. But it'd be interesting to see how much stock we do get with them, because I think they're going to be one of the more popular items this year, the bride and groom, personally. Ethan put, yeah, I hope Halloween House is open because it's like the UK Spirit and it's amazing. I really hope it doesn't get affected. I don't think it will. And I know what you mean by it's the UK Spirit. It's just a shame there's only one of them and it happens to be in Birmingham. If you don't know what I'm talking about or these lads are talking about, basically there's a store in Birmingham called Halloween House that is a pop-up store. It opens in about July and it stays open through to the end of Halloween. And it's exactly that. It's just like Spirit. You go in, there's props set up. They always have different themes. They have things set up, displays set up, and it's very, very cool. But like I said, unfortunately, I do find them just a tad overpriced. But what can you do? How does what? Yes, because obviously about my very cool addition to my display that I've managed to get hold of a John Doe. And I am seriously thinking of turning him into a Frankenstein's monster, but we'll see. Oh, NJ's here. Hi, NJ. I am doing well. How are you doing? Let me know if you're still here. And yeah, it is expensive. It is. Yep. And that's the only problem. I went there thinking, oh, cool, a Halloween store. I can't wait to go in and buy some really cool Halloween things. And then I was like, this thing is, I've seen this in like Morrison's at like £2 and they're selling it for like 12. So you know what I mean? I get it. They're trying to make money. It's a seasonal shop. They want to, get as much money in as possible. But I don't know. Really, is that really the way to do it? Anyway, now back to Spirit Halloween. So we've talked very briefly about the sort of the tariffs and the effect it's having with Spirit and obviously that sadness around them not having their flagship open. But what do you think about, now we're going to move on to the good news. So, of course, we had the bad news of they aren't having their grand opening for flagship. But then the next day, they actually released their teaser trailer. And I've literally put their teaser trailer up on my channel just so that people can see it. And I was like, yeah, this is good. This is different. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I won't ruin it for you too much. No, I will ruin it for you. Sorry. It's a teaser. You should have seen it by now. And basically, the theme, it appears this year, is like some kind of like zombie apocalypse with a theming of an underground subway station, a New York subway station. Apparently, again, I'm a novice at this. We don't have Spirit, but this is a theme that they did many years ago, back in like 10 years ago, back in what year is it? 2015. Back in 2015, they did a similar theme. I think it was called like Station Z or something like that. And it was a zombie apocalypse in a train station, like a subway station. And they've kind of rejigged this theme for 2025. And I'm excited for it. I don't experience Spirit firsthand. I just like seeing what other people post on YouTube and stuff. It's very, very cool theme compared to the carnival theme of last year. You know how I am with clowns. This for me is much more my ballpark. I love a good zombie, just like everyone else. And I love a zombie theme. Zombie apocalypse is a very cool theme as far as I'm concerned. And I just wanted to ask while we were here, did anyone catch any of the little sneaky things they put in there? I'm going to talk about a few of them in a minute. I did take some pictures and I'm going to show them on my iPad because I don't know how to show pictures. There must be a way, but I don't know how to show pictures on my phone while I'm doing a live. And don't try to tell me how to do it because I'm not going to do it because I don't know how to do it. But anyway, I'll show you in a minute. I'm just going to read some more messages. Harry put, I still think the Range's bride and groom are too expensive. Yeah, I reckon the Range has seen everyone's reaction to the price, and so hopefully they'll change it. Yeah. What was it again? Was it £120? That's a lot of money for a Sunstar prop. I mean, it's a big Sunstar prop, and you could say there's technically two of them. You've got that bride and you've got that groom, and the head's popping off. It's quite an impressive prop for Sunstar. But £120? Really? I don't think so. NJ put, still here. Always love hearing your thoughts. Thanks, NJ. And he is still here. Thanks. Hadam Sword put, favourite towering prop, Dan. Favourite towering prop? Oh, so we're talking like a 12-foot, right? If we're talking like a 12-foot, well, towering prop, my favourite probably has to be last year's Home Depot 12-foot towering Reaper, the big floating Reaper guy. He's definitely my favourite up until now. There's so many good ones out there. There's been loads over the years, but I'd say he's probably my favourite towering prop, apart from like some of the professional ones from like Distortions and stuff and other places. But yeah, I would definitely settle on that big Phantom from Home Depot last year. Scare HQ. Hi, Scare HQ. Oh, Jay and Valing around. Hi. Hello, Dan. When it comes to Spirit and the grand opening, it has created an expectation for us. The last few years, the stores around my house haven't been able to receive all their animatronics on time. Oh, dear. Oh, well, I've not heard that one before. That's very interesting, Jay and Valing. Jay and Valing around. That's really interesting thing. I didn't realize that was the case. I always kind of just assumed that Spirit... Is Spirit like a franchise? Because again, I'm a novice. In UK, we don't have it. So is it a franchise? Do people buy into the franchise? Or is it a you know, is it a store? Do they have a head office and they control everything? Let me know. I don't know. But I assume it's a head office that controls everything. So if that's the case, why are certain stores not getting the same attention as others? That's interesting. Ethan put, I was planning on getting a jumping spider or some sort of jump scare animatronic. Hopefully it doesn't affect the stock. I don't think so. Like I say again, Ethan, here in the UK, I don't think we're gonna have quite the same problem as they're gonna see in the US. I don't know. We might see a knock-on effect. If anything, I kind of theorize that the knock-on effect we might have is that we actually see more stuff in the UK than we're normally used to, because China will have so much stuff on their hands that they want to sort of shift off onto somebody. But I could be completely wrong with that assumption. It'd be interesting to see. But I really don't think the UK side of things and the European side of things are going to be affected too much, as long as you're buying from an importer that's buying directly from China. If you're buying from an importer that's importing from the US, that's where the problem might be. Like Mad About Horror, as an example, does buy certain US props from Home Depot and stuff every year. So we might see a problem there. There might also be a problem with HalloweenCostumes.co.uk, which is HalloweenCostumes.com's sort of British version. We already have high import costs from that when we buy something from that, because tell me if I'm wrong, I think certain things do come from the US side of that. So them sort of things, possibly. But if you are buying from an importer that imports direct from China, I don't think here in the UK we're going to have quite the same problems. But I could be wrong. Okay, so NJ's put, the giant rat animatronic looks kind of cool. Yes, so this is back onto Spirit Halloween now. So Spirit Halloween, in the sneak peeks of the trailer, it appears, as well as like zombies and all kinds of other different things, there is going to be a brand new rat, sewer rat, zombie rat, some kind of a rat animatronic this year. We have had in the past things like, what the hell was it? The Morris Costumes? What was that rat? The Scabby Rat? No, it wasn't the Scabby Rat. What's the name? The big rat from Morris Costumes. You know the one I mean. The kind of gross rat. So that was pretty cool. I always liked that rat. I know Ominous Haunter was a big fan of that rat. But it'd be interesting to see what Spirit's adaptation of a kind of a mutated, gross zombie rat might be. It'd be really interesting. But yes, it does appear. In fact, look, with my old man technology, I will show you. I took some snaps before. Where are we? Photos. So here's, if you can see that, that is the rat. That's, well, it's not the rat. It's a picture of a newspaper that says giant rat in the sewers near. What's that say? Giant rat found near sewer. Okay, and it's obviously like a bit of a zombified rat guy thing. I think that's just like a picture of a rat, to be honest with you. But yeah, it seems like we are going to get some kind of a rat. While we're on the subject of what else we might get, we've got zombie hands. Oh yeah, this guy. Now this guy's a returning prop. Oh, by the way, shout out GM Haunts, because he was the one who analysed all this stuff. I didn't. I just took some pictures, screenshots off his video. So go follow GM Haunts. This is from GM Haunts. There's his little moniker in the corner. And this is I've forgotten the name. It's the hanging electrified zombie, basically. And it's this. He hangs from the ceiling. He was out, I want to say like 2019 or 20, I don't know. He's old. He's an old zombie, but a fan favourite, apparently. And he hangs down in a bunch of wires and he's being electrified. So that's one of them. We'll talk about some more in a minute. I'll just read some more. Oh, Sai's here. Hi, Sai. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Mangy rat. Mangy rat, not scabby rat. Mangy rat. Yeah. Mangy rat. Pretty cool. Adam's Haunsport. Yeah, I feel like the electrified corpse and fenced-in zombie will return from Spirit this year. Yeah, well, that's it. Electrified corpse. I've just shown the picture of it. Fenced-in zombie. That would be a good one too. It would be yeah, definitely fit the theme. Ethan put, I'm going to do a zombie theme / general Halloween horror theme this year, unless an amazing prop comes out that it's a different theme. Yes, so definitely zombie theme. It's probably a good year to be thinking about Spirit if the import charges weren't so high. It's going to be a shame that, because if there is some good things from Spirit, I can imagine the import charges from the US to... Now, this is where it gets interesting, because the UK has kind of not done too badly in terms of tariffs between it and the US. The UK hasn't put any extra tariffs on the US. And I think at the minute, there's only a sort of blanket tariff of 10% on UK goods going into America. So at the minute, there is no tariff that the UK's put on American goods as such, though some would argue that the UK already does it with things like customs and one thing and another. So officially, the tariffs shouldn't affect us buying things from America, officially. Who knows? Again, I think that certain companies will make the excuse of, oh, it's the tariff, sorry. But officially, they shouldn't do. So, Scare HQ, what do you think you're going to do for a haunt this year? Well, Scare HQ, if I'm honest, and I was going to talk about this in a video too, I am basically going to rest on my laurels this year and basically do what I did last year, which is, but better it. That was the idea. I felt like I built a castle last year, and I had all kinds of different elements in that castle. And I always felt like I could have made it better. I could have put better details into it. And I'm also going to add some better props. I definitely want to add some new animatronics this year. I've already bought one in the form of John Doe. And I want to add some other animatronics, possibly a vampire, possibly some kind of a phantom. I'm not really sure. I'm just going to see what comes out. And it would be really good to see if that was the case. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to improve on what I already have. Try to just sort of get some of the details better. Add some better details to my cemetery. I want to build something else for my cemetery this year, which I'll reveal in another video. I want to add some better details to my castle. Possibly add a projection. That was another thing. But in terms of theming, I'm sticking very much to what I always have, which is witches. Basically, old school Halloween. We're talking witches, ghosts, cemetery, and then the addition of this mad scientist's castle, which is also infested with vampires. yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Next year, I might completely shift the script and do a completely new theme. I haven't decided, but I liked how it looked last year. There are just things I want to tweak this year with it. So that's what I'm planning on doing this year. But I might change my mind. JM Valling around. It is a franchise. So Spirit's a franchise. You see, I didn't know this. I knew McDonald's was a franchise. But I didn't know Spirit Halloween was a franchise. So that might explain. So in other words, if your local Spirit Halloween isn't getting their props delivered, that isn't a central Spirit Halloween problem. They're like their management team. That is that particular store's problem. They're just not doing their jobs, right? Is that right? Tell me if I'm right. Hooded Plague put, hey Dan, what's up? Hi, Hooded Plague. Everything is up. No, it's not up. Everything's fine, mate. How are you? Yeah, Jay and Valling around. Each store is different. Okay, so there you go. And then everyone's like literally putting mangy rat, because I'm like scabby rat. You know, the Morris costumes, scabby rat. Harry's put, I definitely think Broken Spine Girl will be back and possibly Peekaboo Penny. And I reckon Twitching Banshee. Twitching Banshee? I've got a thing for Twitching Banshee. I think she's a bit sexy. No, I don't. Why did I just say that? No, I don't. I like Twitching Banshee. And you're right. Very, very, very... That would work really well in this. Like a sort of electric zombie. The way she flails her head around. Very, very cool. I think that would go down really well. I think Twitching Banshee, though, she did come back last year as like kind of like one of the returning props. So I don't know. It'd be interesting though if she did. I would definitely say that's a good shout. Those hands, I believe, will be in the hands for the giant rat. Ah, right. Well, that's interesting you say that, NJ, because I thought those hands were just some hands, like gloves that you could buy. But that's an interesting theory. I like that theory. I'm going to read a few more messages and then I'll show a couple more pictures from the Spirit lineup or the sneak peeks. Hooded Plague Pot. I just uploaded a video on my predictions for the Spirit Halloween trailer. I will go and check it out after this, mate, and I will see what you have to say. Adam's Haunts, but Dan, I just DM'd you a screenshot of the animatronic or prop seen in trailer. Thoughts? I'll have to have a look in a minute because, like I say, I can't do I can't do two things at once. Ethan put sounds great. Classic Halloween always works. Yeah. Vanessa, hi Vanessa. Do you think Hugs will return this year? I can't. I don't know. I don't want to say never. Hugs was always a very popular prop. But I'm going to say that if they're going with this, I don't know, it could do. That could work. Hugs could work with this theme. But I think we're gonna see the return of a lot more sort of old school zombies and possibly something else. Yeah. NJ, Dan needs to move to a place with a bigger yard. You're 100% right. I definitely do. Because if I've shown my haunt several times, you really wouldn't believe how small my front garden is. It really is tiny. It's literally a strip around the front of my house. And people can't believe the amount of stuff I pack into that space. I probably pack too much, if I'm honest. But I can't help myself. So Adam's put... Also, the activation button this year is a big red emergency one. Yes, I saw that. Again, GM Haunts, I saw him talking about the activation button. So it's like a emergency stop button. Again, makes sense for a Subway theme. For Spirit, it's on fandom. Okay. Newbie. Hi, Newbie. I saw the Spirit Halloween teaser and genuinely thought they were doing a Ninja Turtle theme. I didn't think it was very Halloween-y. I'm glad you've cleared it up for me. Ninja Turtles. Now there's a theme. You know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That would be one hell of a Spirit Halloween theme. I would love that. Right, now that I've read all the messages, I don't think I've got any new ones. I'm going to show the other picture that I've got, which is this guy. So this guy, nobody knows exactly who this guy is. There is theory that this is a new prop, though I know Harry J Vlogs, if you're still here, he did sort of send me a picture of a zombie, an old spirit zombie that I can't remember the name of, for God the money, love the money, and it does have a very similar face to this, with that sort of distinctive, like growling mouth shape, and I thought to myself, ooh, have they just reskinned? Have they reskinned an older prop and turned it into something new? GM Haunts, I'll turn it the other way so it's actually a little bit bigger. GM Haunts theorized that this guy might be like a mad scientist or another kind of deranged zombie, but with a slightly different look. I can see mad scientist. I think that's got mad scientist vibes, right? Am I wrong or am I right? That could be mad scientist. If it is, very, very cool. Though he's definitely got a zombified look to him. The white eyes are kind of the giveaway there. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that? Also, though I didn't take a picture of this, in the same trailer, and GM Haunts talks about this too, there is a moment where you see a kind of, you know, the underground, what do you call it? Maps. The maps with intertwining railway lines. That's the word. Maps, Dan. Yeah, that old thing. Maps. And on it, there's a lot of different names. So there's like Michael Myers, a station. There's different station names. And one of them is Elm Street. Now, I said to my good friend, Scaredad, only a few weeks ago, that I think it would be very cool if this year someone brought back Freddy. Like, we need a good Freddy Krueger prop, right? Why have we not seen Freddy? We always see Michael Myers. Every year you get the same old generic stabby Michael Myers. Do you know who we haven't seen for many years? Jason. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I saw Jason. We've seen lots of Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. We've seen a lot of, you know, Terrifier Clown, Art the Clown over the last couple of years. And I think Art the Clown is coming back to Spirit this year because it's a popular guy. I get it. But we've not seen much of Jason, as far as I'm aware. And Freddy Krueger, where's he been? Like, I'm not even a big horror fan. And I want to see a Freddy Krueger prop. Am I wrong? Am I right for saying that? I would love to see a good Freddy Krueger. So if that little teaser of Elm Street means anything at all, we could see a Freddy Krueger this year. And I think it'd be very cool if we did. What are your thoughts on that? Anyway. Oh, yep, that's the one I sent you. There you go. So I've seen it. There's loads of different streets. Yeah, I know. There are lots of different streets. And I didn't see them all. And I don't think GM Horns could actually read half of them. But I did see Elm Street. So, Freddy Krueger, come on. We need a Freddy Krueger. I think that'd be really cool. Buzzsaw. Was that a street? Buzzsaw was a street. Oh, Scaredad's here. Hello, Nate. How are you, pal? I'm on the camera, but you can't speak to me. Well, you can do this. You finally got to see me live. I told you it was nothing special. I told you it was disappointing. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I've lost the thread of what I was saying now. Yes, it would be very cool if we saw a Freddy Krueger this year. But I'm excited just to see everything. I'm excited. I like the zombie theme. I do like zombies. I think if we get some good zombies, we might get... Oh, so these are the names. Okay, I'm reading the names. So Haddon Horns put in. There was Stilts, Cuddles the Clown, Pumpkin Nester, Gordo. Okay, so they were the different station names. I'm going to guess that's what you mean. So, of course, yep, Gordo, very cool. Pumpkin Nester, yeah, okay, I can see that. Cuddles the Clown. All right. Stilts. Nah, okay. I get it, though. People like these things. Just because I don't get clowns doesn't mean everyone doesn't get clowns. NJ's put, Scaredad is the man. He is. Scaredad is the man. Hi, I'm so glad you're here for a little bit of it. Oh, yeah, Size put meh to the clowns. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I hate clowns so much. It's just... I don't know. I think they're just so overdone and overrated. They're overrated in my eyes. I know that angers some of you. Don't you think they've just had their time? Don't you think we've just seen enough of the clowns? Now, I've just said that, and actually, there's some pretty good ones this year. I actually really like the one from Home Depot with the Jack-in-a-Box thing, and then his head springs forward. That's cool. Oh, and the lunging one from Lowe's, the one with the balloon dog, the balloon dog clown. Very good. I like the look. It's very creepy. And it's an old school kind of creepy look to it. And then it lunges. So anything that lunges, it gets my money. But apart from those two, clowns are boring. Clowns are boring. And we need to start seeing less and less of them. They're just unimaginative to me. It's just like... I don't know, it's just that thing, and I've said it before, it's like someone sat in an office building somewhere, and they're like, what can we do for this year? It's 2025. What did we do last year? Well, we kind of looked through our back catalogue. We went, yeah, it's Halloween. What can we throw at people to make a bit of money? I know, clowns. We threw a lot of clowns at them. So what should we do this year? Well, did people buy the clowns? Yes, people did buy the clowns. Then let's throw some more clowns at them. And all the while, everyone who isn't into clowns is like, you know, where are the ogres? I know we got one this year, but, you know, where are the ogres? Where's the Cyclops? Where's a witch that actually flies? You know, I don't know. Where's anything? You know, I don't even know. Where's the cursed mermaid? I don't know. You know, where's the spaceman that also turns into a puppet? I don't know. You put me on the spot. But you know what I mean. Just use some imagination. Let's just move away from the clowns. And I know this is coming from the guy that is obsessed with witches and reapers and phantoms. And if they haven't been overdone, then I don't know what has. But I can't help it. They are good. And they actually mean something to Halloween, whereas clowns are just clowns. Sorry. Okay, so that was my rant on clowns. And I've got, oh yeah, I don't like them. I do classic haunted house. There you go, support. NJ put same, I can't stand clowns. See, why are they pointing out clowns? Everyone agrees. Haddon Taunts put, they have had their time. They have had their time. Hannah's put yes or that. And Size put, you know my view on the clowns. I do, mate. I very much do. And Scared I put, the clowns are usually uninspired. How many jobs can clowns have beside being a clown? Isn't that their job? You're right. AJ put, you should buy the painting clown, Dan. This is right. So just moving away from Spirit for a minute, I did, of course, my last video was some new props coming to the UK. And the lineup so far actually looks really good. They're coming to the Halloween Store UK. And there's more to come. It's very exciting. I'm very excited to see what else there is to come. There were 6 props actually physically that you could see, and then there was the voice of a 7th prop that I can't figure out who that 7th prop is. So if anyone wants to go watch that little teaser that the Halloween Store put out and listen to the voice that's over the top of the track and see if you can figure out what animatronic it is, let me know if you figure it out. I can't figure it out. But one of the props was the Paint-A-Decorator clown that I absolutely ripped a new one earlier on in the season. Just like, why has this clown got a secondary job on the side? Why is he like, in the day, I'm Honks the Clown, but in the evening, I do some painting and decorating for my neighbours. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe he's a painter. That's it. So he's a painter decorator in the day, and then at night, he's a clown murdering people, and he captures the blood so that the next day he can paint for people. That's what it is. I've cracked the code. Also, he's a great painter decorator if you just like the color red. Yeah, if you're a massive fan of the color red, hire that clown. It might not be the neatest job in the world, but who doesn't like red? Robert Riviera's here. He put, I think the clowns are burned out, and I am surprised that the clown from American Horror Stories wasn't made into an animatronic. Exactly. Why hasn't that been? I'm guessing it's an expensive thing to buy, like the actual that. I'd have to guess that's what it is. Yeah, that would be a more interesting way to go if you are going to bring out a clown. Instead of just being like, right, we've got this tall clown. It's got red hair and blue hair. What can we make him do? Well, we've done juggling. We've done candy floss. We've done lollipops. We've done balloons. Paint a decorator. What? No. Ethan's put, clowns do get overused a lot. They do. They do. And that's the thing. I think just let's have a year with less clowns. Just a few less. Just not as many. And maybe then the next year we might be like, do you know what I missed this year? We didn't get enough clowns. I'm hoping for clowns next year. Anyway, so I put, you have such a vivid imagination. Yes, because obviously in my imagination, people hire clowns to do their painting and decorating. There's witches making sandwiches. Come on. Now, if that isn't a thing. Witches making sandwiches. They come round. What would you like today? I'd like a club sandwich. Well, would you like baby meat or goat meat? Yeah. Yeah. Ethan's put, B&M and other stores in the UK always do clowns, and it gets a bit much. It does. It does. And again, they're not even good. You go into B&M, so you got B&M. Who have we got? B&M. Oh my God, the other one, not Pound Stretcher. Pound Stretcher is one of them though. Home Bargains, B&M Home Bargains, that you go in. Now, actually, I'm not going to slag off Home Bargains because they do a very good range. Last year, I was very impressed. But it's always the clown. Here's another clown. And it's like a thing like, yeah. I've got to stop the impressions. So I put laughing faces. Scared Dad's put sandwich witches would fit in the deli hut you went to. That's it. I never even made the connection. That's exactly what it is. Delis, witches, they've got cauldrons for cooking in. They were meant to work in delis, weren't they? Witches. Making sandwiches in delis. You can see that. It'd be like a van, like the Mystery Machine. Like the witches. Sandwiches. Deli speciality. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Oh, Joe. Hi, Joe. Put, hi, I love your videos. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. That's very much appreciated. Harry's put the range. And are we talking about the range clowns, Harry? Because yeah. Adam's put, is the Halloween store teaser on Insta? It is. It is on Instagram. It's on my channel on Instagram. If you go and look at my channel on Instagram, I did share it on there. And I also did a video like yesterday where I also showed it. Where else did I put it? Oh, and it's also on my shorts. If you have a little look through my YouTube shorts, it's on there too. So go and listen and tell me you can figure out what that 7th prop is, because I can't figure it out. So the range, yes. So Harry's put yes. Or the weird shaking ones with a tray. Yes, of course. So yes, the range is clowns. Now, Harry, you know there are actually some reasonable clowns from the range this year. That one that kind of grows up, that's impressive for the range and for Sunstar. I was impressed by that. But it's on you. But again, I would have preferred that to have not been a clown. That's my thing about it. I get it. I know that people like the clowns, but for me, that would have made more sense as, I don't know, like some kind of nightmarish creature. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that makes that sort of thing of a thing that's growing and towering over you. I don't know whether a clown cuts that. It's just a bit boring and generic. And then the other one that disappointed me was the one where the head springs open and it's a clown's head. Did it have to be a clown's head? You know, I like the action. But then the one with the tray that's just like, ooh, I've got a tray and I jiggle. I'm a clown. Why are you a clown jiggling with a tray? Nobody wants that. Who would hire that clown? You know? Do you know what I need for my party? So I've hired the painter decorator clown to decorate every room of my house. My entire house is now red. But what I also did for the party that we're having this evening is hire the jiggling clown with jiggling tray. Because everybody who goes to parties loves to get a shaken glass of champagne where all the bubbles have gone out of it because he's been shaking it so rapidly. That just screams elegance. Of course you want a clown with a tray. Of course you do. Either put their heads with thin hands and draped cloth. Oh yeah, well they do. Yeah, I've got a lot of the props from the range, B&M, Home Bargains, and they've always got these little tiny thin hands with cloth all over them. It's classic Sunstar. Classic Sunstar. Joe put Halloween and music. Are you going to add a certain theme this year, like the castle last year? I am going to do a carnival. Oh, God, I'm slagging off clowns, and you're going to do a carnival. And I've ordered the Sweet Dreams clown. Okay. So I've just sort of said I'm not adding a theme as such this year. I'm just going to improve on the theme I added this year. I have, if you didn't see Scare Dad, I just saw your name pop up at the bottom. I managed to get a John Doe. Yay for me getting a John Doe. And he's going to be my Frankenstein. I hope I can get that to work. So yes, I am just going to improve on my theme from last year. I'm not really adding anything. I might do a couple of other builds. I've got a couple of things new for my graveyard that I want to add. But I'm not really making any new themes as such. I am just sort of adding to what I've already got and bettering what I've already got. There's a few things I want to take out. There's a few things I want to add in. I definitely want to buy a new big animatronic this year if it makes sense. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm not really changing anything. That might be next year. Next year I might have a complete change around and completely redesign what I do. But because my garden's so small, I am limited. And it always does tend to end up the same just because it kind of works in the space that I've got. Adam's Hall, am I the only person who can't find the Halloween store teaser? Maybe. Maybe, mate. I'll have to share it again. I'll share it on our little Discord. I'll put it on there if you haven't already seen it. But it's definitely, it is on my reels on Instagram, and it is in my video shorts, my shorts on YouTube, and it's also in my video from yesterday. So if you don't even have to watch the whole video, if you just want to sneak through to the bit with that in it, but I'll share it again. I'll share it again later. Carrie put, yeah, the clowns, some of them are okay. Don't ever get me started on the one with the tray. Yeah, pretty bad. Scared I put, I imagine the vibrating tray clown trying to deliver drinks, lol. It would be spilling everywhere. It would. And that's not a look. That's not a thing at a party. No one's like, hey, waiter, you know, like, oh, God, this waiter is so quick and efficient. What we need is a clown who can't hold a tray. That's what we need at our party. Forget these well-educated people who are just trying to get themselves through college, you know, who are bussing, whatever that's called, you know, holding trays and here's your drink, madam. Forget that. We don't want that kind of thing. No efficiency here. We want a slightly shaky clown who's, I don't know, maybe he's on a come down or something. I don't know what he is. And he's like, here's your drink. That's what everyone needs. Yeah. Oh, so Joe approves. That's cool. So thank you. And then Scared I put, yay, John Doe. Yes. I saw him. I knew I had to buy him. It had to happen. I hesitated for too long last year. I got him. So as long as I can make him do what I want to do, yeah, this could work out really well. Ethan put, the new hanging vampire from the range looks nice. It does, actually. I like that vampire. I think I'll buy that for my castle, funnily enough. I think that'll go really well. Scared Dad's put, backyard haunt next year. Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me. It could happen. I'm not going to lie. I mentioned it again to Katie the other day, and she was like, it's a lot of work, isn't it? I was like, I'd start off small. Maybe just like half the garden. And she was like, maybe. So who knows? Do you have pics or video of your first few Halloween displays you ever did as an adult? Oh, would love to see a video talking about that. Oh, you don't want to see that. I do have pictures, and I did my very, 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 very first video on YouTube. If you want to go all the way back through the 400 and odd videos that I've put up over the last 5 years, there's a video that's from 2019, and it was the first time I'd ever put anything Halloween-y up on YouTube, and it is of my haunt in 2019. So, and if you watch that, and then you watch my haunt 2024, there's just there's a subtle, you'll notice a subtle difference. There's a subtle difference. So go look at that, NJ. But I might make, that's a good point. That is a good video to make. I might talk about the progression of my haunt, the evolution of my display. Sai put, where do you see the 7th prop on the Halloween store video, mate? It isn't in the singing section. No, you don't see it. Here's the thing. You don't see it. You only hear it. So over the top of the video, over the top of the teaser trailer, there's a voice. You can't see it. It's just a voice, and it's a voice of a prop. And when I made a video, I said, I've managed to count 6. And the Halloween store commented saying, I'm glad you found 6 props, but there is a 7th. It's the voice over the top. And then I've spent the last couple of days listening to that, trying to pin down whose that voice belongs to. I even Googled it, and Google just went, this is a spooky voice that gets used in Halloween animatronics. I was like, yeah, thank you, Google. Thanks for nothing, Google. You're supposed to be so clever, Google. Anyway. Joe's put, what is your favourite animatronic you own? Oh, God, it's like having to choose between your children. My favourite animatronic that I own, I'm going to have to say Lethal Lily. I think Lethal Lily just slightly nudges it for me, even though she's not everybody's favourite, which is a weird thing to say because she's so impressive. I think she just edges as my favourite. Like, I think if she stopped working, well, she kind of did stop working last year. Her eyes stopped opening. And I was devastated for like a week. And so I don't know. I think I always imagine if one of my props broke, which would I be most devastated by? And she at the minute is the one. Whether that changes, I am fickle. I do love my Reaper. I do love my Headless Horseman. And I even love my Stirring Witch, my Costco Stirring Witch. I have a real soft spot for her. But I think right now it's Lethal Lily. If she were to stop working and I couldn't put her out, I think I'd be most devastated by her, I really have to say. Ethan put, I wish I had a backyard like America, and money to do a small haunt walkthrough would be amazing to do. It really would. It's so much work. And for people who do it, you brave people who do walkthrough haunts, especially going into your backyards or back gardens or whatever you happen to have, you're very brave and very dedicated. It's a lot of work and a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to set that kind of thing up. So yeah, I think that's a thing. Sai put, I was playing it with the volume down on my phone because I got you on the TV. Yeah, okay. So you need to listen to it. That's what I was saying. Lethal Lily is amazing. I wish I had her. Oh, NJ, you haven't got Lethal Lily. Joking. Go and get Lethal Lily if you get the chance. She is amazing. I love her. Scared I put, the phrase, run as much as your heart's desires, I will always find you, is a heartfelt and encouraging statement, emphasizing the importance of pursuing one's dreams. Google. It's true. Run as much as your heart's desires. Oh, do you know what? Let's turn that into a quote. You know, like those inspirational quotes that people like to put on Instagram and stuff. Like, oh, save a penny and it'll become a pound. That's a terrible quote, but you know what I mean. Let's make run. So the actual phrase, it goes, run as much as your heart's desires. I will always find you. But if you change the tempo, run as much as your heart desires. I will always find you. That makes it sound more, oh, that's cute, isn't it? Oh, thanks. Run as much as your heart desires. I will. I'll run like a spirit through the streets and you'll always find me. I'd bring her back to life, mate, if she failed. I know you would, Si. I know you would. So I'm very, very, I'm appreciative of you. And I have tried her head and her eyes do open now. So thank you so much again. You really are a saver there. Scared I put, sounds like a Grim Reaper to me. I think you could be right. It does have a Grim Reaper vibe. I just couldn't figure out which Grim Reaper. It could even be that Morris Costumes one that's new for this year, the one where it's sat on a throne. That's what my brain went to. But then I tried looking up some footage, and though I could see it, I couldn't hear that phrase. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it is. The Terrible Gamer. What part of England are you from? I am from Cheshire, which is famous for cats that smile. I'm from Cheshire. Closest to, probably quite close to Manchester, that sort of part of the country. So that's where I'm from. Halloween, Joe put, some of the new animatronics leaked on Halloween store look Sunstar, which is fine, but I hope they're not too expensive. Yeah, so which one did I look at and think it might be Sunstar? So the Nun, I looked at and was like, that has Sunstar vibes. It was the frame that gave it away. There was like, you could see the frame at the feet. And I was like, that has a bit of a Sunstar look to it. I don't know about the bat. The bat's an interesting one. The bat, I really like the look of the bat. I think it's a really good looking bat. But then it has this extra little thing. It's sat on a plinth and it's got these weird little skeleton legs. And I was like, is that then like, is it something weird? It's the sort of thing Sunstar would do, where they add weird little things to things that don't need it. Like the dragon. So they did a dragon last year, very impressive, but then it had hands. Like, why has a dragon got hands? It should have maybe claws or like big long feet that touch the ground, but not hands. Dragons don't have hands. Don't give me a dragon with hands. So, yeah. I hope they're not Sunstar. But if they are, you're right. I hope they're a good price if they are Sunstar. I did a walkthrough haunt display for the first time at a party we held. Took us 4 hours to set it all up. Went really well. We are doing it this year, and it's going to be a graveyard display. Well done, you, Harry. I think I might have seen that. Did you post that on YouTube? I might have seen that. Very well done. Again, if you actually do a haunt like that, that's yeah, that was I'm impressed. Nun was low quality. Yeah, I got that vibe. The Nun looked okay. I don't know. I'm gonna hold judgment till we see something else. Clowns and scarecrows. Yeah. Cheshire Cat smile in your top window would be kind of cool to have in a display. Yeah, you're right. The Cheshire Cat is a creepy character, right? Even outside of Alice in Wonderland. By the way, the guy CS Carrot, he's from Cheshire. That's why it's Cheshire Cat. So, yeah, the Cheshire symbol is it's actually wheat, but it's cats too. Cheshire Cat, that'd be cool. Yeah, the bat was more than 100. Then hell nah. Yeah, I get you. I agree. I like the look of it. I'm very interested to see a full video of it before I make too much of a judgment. He would look good in my haunt, I'm not going to lie. But again, I want to see it in a bit more detail. Ethan put, scarecrows are really good. I did a scarecrow display 2 years ago, and the people didn't know which one was going to move, and the creepy in the window. Yes, scarecrows are very good. You can't go wrong with a good scarecrow, I always say. In a haunt. I don't always say that. But, you know, they're one of those things, quintessential Halloween things. I, too, have a scarecrow. It's the one that does that. Yeah, very cool. Maybe I'm always a bit of the opinion, slightly overdone as well, in that they're always the same. If you have a scarecrow that innovates and is something wildly different, then, yeah, more scarecrows, please. But when you see the same kind of scarecrow again and again, it can get a little bit boring. Animatronics and Inflatable Channel. Hiya, Dan. How are you doing? I'm doing well, mate. I'm very sorry to say you've just jumped in and I'm about to say goodbye because my children have to go to bed. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. This has been fun. I hope you found it fun and informative. We got to talk about Spirit a little bit. Again, I'd like to see, I might make a video talking about it in a bit more in depth about the sadness of it not having the flagship opening, but also the joy of seeing that teaser trailer. And it's very interesting. So I'd like to hear at some point, if this does upload, which it doesn't always, these lives for some reason never seem to upload onto my channel, or they do for like a day and then they disappear. Anyway, if this does upload and it's there fully and you can comment on it, let me know what your actual thoughts were about the Spirit stuff and how sad you are or not sad you are. But other than that, I will see you soon. So Joe's putting thanks, Dan. NJ's putting take care, Dan. Ethan's put have a good night and take care. I will. Thank you. Scare Dad. Bye, Dan. Talk to you on Wednesday. We're going to film a video. It's going to be about some stuff. At least we have Halloween stuff to talk about now. We do. We were going to make a video. We were like, what video should we make? And he was like, I don't know. Because there was very little to talk to. And then literally the next day, a whole mess of stuff dropped. So, yeah. Yay, we've got stuff to talk about again. Bye, everyone. Bye, Harry. Bye, Sai. And bye, Ethan. And bye, anyone else who happens to be watching. I will see you again soon. Bye. And